before 16 February ends. Listen to this, not as a fan, not as someone watching from far away, but as someone whose heart has been carrying words for too long. Tonight feels different. The sky above Dubai looks quieter somehow. The city lights are glowing like they're protecting secrets. And I'm sitting here thinking about you, about strength, loyalty, poetry, love, and the silent promises a heart makes when it chooses someone. Before this day fades into yesterday, let me confess something. There are dates that pass like any other. And then there are dates that feel meaningful without explanation. 16th of February feels like that. Not because of celebrations, not because of announcements, but because sometimes a day becomes a reminder of loyalty, leadership, passion, and love that stands firm even when the world watches. And when I think of that energy, I think of a man the world knows as Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum, but many hearts know as Fazza. Not just a crown prince of Dubai, not just a leader, but a symbol of devotion to family, to country, to dreams, and maybe that's why this confession feels connected. Because loving someone deeply feels similar to loyalty towards something greater than yourself. Before 16 February ends, I need to say this. I've learned something about love from watching strength wrapped in humility, from seeing power combined with poetry, from understanding that true royalty isn't loud, it's steady. Real loyalty doesn't shout. It protects quietly. And that's how I love. Quietly, deeply, completely. There was a time when I didn't understand commitment. I thought love was about excitement, about grand gestures, about dramatic declarations. But over time, I realized something more powerful. Love is about staying. It's about choosing someone every single day, even when life is demanding. And that's what loyalty teaches. That's what leadership teaches. That's what devotion looks like. And that's what I feel before 16 February ends. Listen carefully. My heart isn't speaking from obsession. It's speaking from admiration. Admiration for strength that doesn't need validation. For a leader who rides through deserts and stands firm in storms. For someone who represents not just power, but pride. Pride in roots, pride in identity, pride in responsibility. And when I see that, I realize something about myself. I want to love the same way, with dignity, with intention, with unwavering loyalty. There's something magnetic about a man who balances authority with poetry, someone who can command respect and still write words that soften hearts. And that's what makes this confession feel real. Because loving deeply isn't weakness, it's courage. It takes courage to protect what matters. It takes courage to admit feelings. It takes courage to stand firm in a world that changes constantly. Before this day ends, I need to confess something personal. I've been afraid of loving too much, afraid of caring more than I receive, afraid of giving loyalty in a world that sometimes treats promises lightly. but watching leadership built on loyalty taught me something. True devotion is not weakness, it is strength, it is identity, it is honor, and I want my love to reflect that same honor. When I say, I choose you, I don't mean temporarily, I don't mean conveniently, I mean with intention. The way a leader chooses responsibility, the way a son chooses legacy, the way a heart chooses its home. Because love should feel like home, stable, secure, protected, not fragile, not uncertain. Before 16 February ends, I want you to know something. I don't love halfway. I don't commit lightly. And once I choose someone, I protect that bond like it's precious, not out of possession, but out of respect. Because loyalty isn't about control, it's about consistency, it's about showing up even when applause fades, it's about standing firm even when storms arrive. In United Arab Emirates, leadership carries weight, responsibility, expectation, eyes watching, and yet dignity remains. That's what inspires me, because love also carries weight, expectations, vulnerability, risk. But if it's real, it stands firm. Before this night ends, let me confess something softer. Sometimes I imagine loving with the same calm strength I admire, loving without insecurity, loving without doubt, loving without fear of abandonment. Because when loyalty is genuine, fear loses power. And I want that kind of love. Not dramatic, not unstable, but royal in its quiet commitment. There's something powerful about dates, about moments that pass silently but carry meaning for those who feel deeply. 16th of February may just be another day to the world, but to a heart that admires loyalty and leadership, it feels symbolic, a reminder that greatness is built on consistency, and love is built the same way. Before 16 February ends, listen to this. If I love you, I will stand beside you with dignity. I will protect your name. I will respect your space. I will honor your dreams. Because love without respect is fragile, but love built on respect is unbreakable. And if you ever question my loyalty, look at my consistency. Look at my effort. Look at the way I show up. Because I don't disappear when things get difficult. I don't retreat when emotions feel heavy. I don't walk away when silence arrives. I stay calmly, firmly, intentionally. Before the clock strikes midnight, let this confession settle in your heart. I admire strength. I admire leadership. I admire loyalty. And I want my love to reflect those same qualities. Steady like the skyline of Dubai at night, proud like the flag of the United Arab Emirates waving in desert wind, resilient like someone who balances power with poetry. Before 16 February ends, remember this: true royalty is not in crowns, it's in character. True love is not in grand words, it's in unwavering presence. And my presence, when I choose someone, is not temporary, it is intentional. It is loyal, it is real. So listen to this before the day fades. If my heart bows, it bows with dignity. If my heart chooses, it chooses completely. If my heart commits, it commits with honor. Because love, when done right, feels royal, not because of titles, but because of loyalty. And before 16 February ends, that is my confession. Before 16 February ends, listen to this carefully, because some confessions are not meant to be shouted, they are meant to be felt. The city lights are still glowing across Dubai. The skyline stands tall, unshaken, powerful, yet calm. And as I look at it tonight, I understand something deeper about loyalty. Loyalty is not loud. It does not beg for attention. It simply stays. When people speak of greatness, they often talk about achievements, titles, victories, but true greatness is consistency. It is waking up every day with responsibility and still carrying humility. It is strength wrapped in grace. And when I think about that balance, I think of Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum, not just as a crown prince, not just as a leader, but as a symbol of devotion to family, to country, to legacy. That kind of devotion is rare, and that kind of devotion inspires my heart. Before this day disappears into memory, I need to confess something even deeper. I don't just admire power. I admire discipline. I admire quiet loyalty. I admire someone who protects what they love without making a show of it, because love should feel protected, not displayed for applause. And that is how I love too, quietly, with dignity, without the need to prove it to the world. There is something powerful about watching someone represent an entire nation like the United Arab Emirates with pride and steadiness. It teaches you that commitment is not temporary, it is not seasonal, it is built into character. And that's what I want my heart to reflect: not temporary emotion, but permanent intention. Before 16 February ends, let me admit something personal. I used to fear giving my loyalty fully, because loyalty makes you vulnerable. It means you stand firm even when storms try to shake you. It means you don't run when challenges appear. It means you don't disappear when things feel heavy. And I was afraid of that responsibility, afraid of caring too deeply, afraid of standing alone if the other person stepped back. But admiration changes fear. Watching strength combined with humility taught me something. Standing firm is not weakness, it is courage. Loyalty is not loud, it does not constantly repeat, I am here. It simply is. It shows up, it remains, it protects. And before this date ends, I want you to understand what that means coming from me. If I say I respect you, I mean it. If I say I choose you, I mean it. If I say I stand beside you, I mean it without conditions, because I do not treat commitment lightly. The world sees the glamour of leadership, but what I admire most is discipline. Early mornings, silent responsibilities, decisions made without hesitation. That is what builds trust, and love is built the same way, not with dramatic moments, but with daily consistency, with respect, with steady presence. Before 16 February ends, I want to say something bold. Love should feel royal, not because of crowns, but because of standards. Because royalty carries dignity, and love should carry dignity too. It should not be insecure. It should not be possessive. It should not be unstable. It should feel secure, like knowing someone will stand with you, even when applause fades. I confess this. If I admire someone, it is not superficial. It is not temporary excitement. It is appreciation for character, for discipline, for loyalty, for humility, despite power. And those qualities are what I want to reflect in my own heart. I want to love with discipline. I want to love with loyalty. I want to love with pride, not ego. Before midnight arrives, let this settle inside you. I am not impressed by noise. I am impressed by consistency. I am not drawn to drama. I am drawn to strength that remains calm. I am not moved by attention. I am moved by loyalty that does not fade when the spotlight shifts. That is the kind of devotion that deserves respect. And here is the deepest confession of all. I want my love to feel like that skyline at night, strong, unshaken, resilient, even when darkness surrounds it, even when the world is silent, even when no one is watching, because the strongest foundations are built in silence. Before 16 February ends, remember this. True greatness is not loud. True loyalty is not dramatic. True love is not temporary. It is consistent. It is honorable. It is disciplined. And if my heart chooses it, chooses with those same values, with dignity, with steadiness, with respect, that is my confession, not for applause, not for attention, but for truth. Before this day ends, listen to this.